The rain began as a whisper, just a soft pattering on the tent roof, like tiny fingers drumming gently against the fabric. Beyond the canvas, the dense forest murmured with distant thunder, the occasional rustle of leaves, and the steady rhythm of a slow, late summer rain. The fire crackled quietly at the center of the camp, its embers glowing orange as the flame danced, casting flickering shadows on the 5 friends sitting around it. They had come out here to disconnect for a weekend. No phones, no signals, no noise. Just the pine trees of Ridgewood Forest, a few tents, and the sound of nature wrapping around them like a blanket. Tyler was the one who planned it. He'd grown up camping with his grandfather and had a way of making the outdoors feel safe. Sierra and Olivia were childhood friends who had stuck together through everything, and though they weren't exactly nature lovers, they trusted Tyler enough to brave a few nights under the stars. Jake and Marcus, roommates from college, rounded out the group. As the rain gently continued, none of them felt the need to retreat into their tents just yet. The fire was warm, and the crackling had a calming effect. Tyler, as always, took charge of the mood. "All right," he said, poking at the log with a stick. "What's a night in the woods without some ghost stories?" Olivia raised an eyebrow. "You mean like cliché horror movie ghost stories? In the middle of nowhere? During a storm? That's the best time," Marcus grinned. "What could possibly go wrong?" Jake leaned forward. "Okay, but let's not do anything cheesy. If you're gonna tell a ghost story, make it good." Tyler smirked. "All right then. Let me tell you one that my grandfather told me. One that supposedly happened right here in Ridgewood, way before any of us were born." The fire crackled a bit louder. Somewhere far off, an owl hooted. A gust of wind shifted the trees above. "This part of Ridgewood," Tyler began, "used to be home to a scout camp, back in the 1960s. Camp Pine Glen. It was popular. Tons of kids from all over the state came to learn survival, hike the trails and sleep under the stars. Everything was great. Until one summer. One night, a counselor named Evan took a group of 4 campers out for a midnight trail hike. It was something they did once every summer, a bonding thing, a way to build trust in the woods at night. He paused just long enough for the others to lean in slightly. But they never came back. The rain tapped softly on the tarp overhead. Olivia pulled her hoodie tighter around her. "They found the other campers the next morning," Tyler continued. "Scattered. One boy, 12 years old, was sitting in the stream, muttering to himself and staring at nothing. Another was found clinging to a tree miles from camp, refusing to let go. The third, they found curled in the fetal position at the edge of a ravine. But the last camper and the counselor, Evan, they were never found. No trace. The campers who survived refused to talk about what happened. All they ever said was this: 'He told us stories by the fire, and then the woods took him.'" Sarah swallowed. "That's creepy." Jake gave a skeptical laugh. "Come on, that's gotta be a campfire legend." Tyler just shrugged. "Maybe. But every now and then, hikers still report strange things in this forest. Some say they see flickering campfires in places where no one's camping. Others say they hear footsteps at night, just outside their tents. Some even claim to hear a voice, low, steady, whispering ghost stories by an invisible fire. And always during the rain. A sudden gust of wind brushed the trees above, and a loud crack of thunder rumbled overhead. The fire hissed slightly as a few drops of rain slipped through the canopy. "Well, that's enough of that," Olivia said quickly. "Let's tell something less terrifying. Like embarrassing high school stories or something." They all chuckled nervously, but something in the atmosphere had changed. The forest had gone quiet. Too quiet. No insects buzzing, no rustling of squirrels, no owl. Just the gentle rain and the crackling fire. Jake stood up to throw another log on the fire. He paused, frowning. "Tyler, did you bring another lantern out here?" Tyler shook his head. "No. Why?" Jake pointed into the woods. Through the trees, not too far from their sight, was a soft orange glow, flickering, like firelight. "Maybe it's another campsite," Marcus suggested. We're not the only ones out here. Tyler narrowed his eyes. There shouldn't be anyone else this deep in. That section over there's not even on the marked trail. Olivia looked at Sierra. I swear if this is some prank. Sierra shook her head. Not me. The flickering continued. Then without warning the fire at their own campsite dimmed. Not completely out, just quieter, softer. The shadows seemed to stretch longer, leaner. And the glow in the trees suddenly disappeared. Marcus stood up. Okay, seriously, that's messed up. Tyler's voice dropped low. Stay close. Don't wander. The friends huddled a bit closer, no longer comforted by the firelight. Minutes passed. Then came the first sound, a twig snapping just beyond the edge of camp. They all heard it. Clean, deliberate snap. Like someone stepping on it. Then a second. Closer. Jake reached for his flashlight. Flickered, then died. I just changed the batteries, he muttered. Sierra's breath trembled. Can we just go in the tents now? Then they heard it. Voice. Low, gravelly. Like someone whispering just a few feet away. Want to hear a story? Olivia whimpered. Nope. I'm done. I'm going to my tent. She stood quickly and turned, only to freeze. Another campfire was burning just a few feet behind the first row of trees. Flickering. And around it sat 5 shadowed figures. Silent. Just watching. Nobody moved. Marcus's voice cracked. You see that, right? Tyler didn't answer. One of the figures stood. It stepped forward into the light, and they all gasped. It looked like a scout counselor. Tan shirt. Forest green neckerchief. But his face was wrong. Blank. Like wet ash. And his mouth was moving, but his eyes never blinked. The woods are full of stories, he whispered. They don't always end when the people do. Suddenly the fire exploded upward, flaring bright as lightning flashed in the sky. The figure vanished in the burst of light. Screams echoed through the campsite. Everyone bolted. Tents were forgotten. They ran blindly through the dark, through mud and trees, not knowing where they were headed, just needing to get away. Rain poured harder now. Branches scratched their faces. Underbrush clawed at their legs. Jake tripped. Tyler stopped to pull him up, only for them both to freeze. Right ahead was another fire. And around it more figures. All dressed the same. All still. Kara screamed. It's like they're everywhere. The group turned and ran the other direction. And there too, flickering through the trees. Another glow. They were surrounded. Somehow they stumbled back to the original campsite. The fire was still there, but the tents were gone. Not collapsed. Not burned. Just gone. Rain soaked them to the bone as they stood in the center of the empty campsite, panting, gasping. Then, one by one, the ghostly figures appeared around the perimeter, forming a circle. Silent. And then, another voice. From behind them. Antle. You want to hear a story? Tyler turned, trembling. Was a young boy. Maybe 11. His eyes were hollow. His hands were shaking. And in his palms, he held a burnt forest badge. The counselor told us stories, the boy whispered. He made us promise to stay. That the fire would keep us safe. But he never let us leave. Tyler choked on his words. What do you want from us? The boy looked up, eyes now glowing faintly orange. Company. And then everything went dark. When Olivia woke up, it was morning. The rain had stopped. Birds chirped. Light filtered through the trees. She sat up quickly, gasping. She was lying in her sleeping bag. Inside her tent. Everything looked normal. Jake stirred in the next tent over. Then Sierra and Marcus. Tyler emerged, pale but alive. They were all there. The fire pit was cold but untouched. Their gear was exactly where they had left it. What happened last night? Olivia asked. No one answered. They didn't speak of the fire, or the figures, or the whispering voices. They packed up in silence. As they hiked back to the trailhead, Tyler glanced back once. Through the trees, he saw a small campfire still burning, and 5 shadows seated around it. Butching. And one of them lifted a hand and waved. They never spoke of it again. But on stormy nights, when rain taps gently on his window, Tyler swears he still hears the voice. Want to hear a story?